Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. And then Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Shri Prem Data Nityananda Prabhu Ki Jai. Shri Prem Purushottam Sachinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai. Shri Pratibhavan Jagannatha Ki Jai. Go Prem Anande Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Shri Guru Gauranga. Guruveva Chandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha Shrishtam Mahamapi Sachiputram Matra Swarupam Rupam Dashigrajam Rupurim Maturim Pushtavatim Radha Kundam Girivaram Mahoradhika Madhavasam Krapto Yasha Patita Kripaya Shri Guru Kosmi Ajanalam Bhuto Bhujo Kanakavadato Sankirtanai Kapitaro Kamamai Vishvambaro Dvijalaro Yugadana Palo Priya Karo Karuna Anarpita Chirim Chirat Karuna Avatina Kalo Samarpaitam Chula Rasam Swabhakti Sriham Hari Parata Sundara Duti Kadamba Sandipitaha Siddha Kandare Spuratuva Sachinandana Uttama Adama Kichana Vachila Chachi Adile Kapola Kahe Premananda Emona Goranga Hidaya Dari Upola Pacha Goranga Pahaboranga Pahaborangera Namare Chejana Goranga Bhaje Hoy amar pranare Chejana Goranga Bhaje Se hoy amar pranare Yashaiva Padambuja Bhakti Labhya Prema Bidana Parama Pumarta Tasmai Jagan Mangala Mangalaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Shri Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Panchakopatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhuya Evacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this song I'm just singing is said to have been by a Vaishnava named Krishna Das. Now, we don't really know who the author of the song is. And many Vaishnavas, sometimes they don't want to give credit for things. They rather give credit to the Lord. So they often will sing the song Krishna Das, which can mean anyone. So anyway, the author of this song is glorifying Lord Nityananda Prabhu, Jaya Nityananda Ram, and he's describing why I'm approaching you. Because aparada papa mora taha nahika ar. Udahara nija karunai. That you don't see offenses and you don't see sins. We need that kind of mercy. That's what we're all looking for. Is someone who will be willing, who will love us so much and have so much affection for us that they'll be willing to overlook our faults. That's the mercy of Lord Nityananda Prabhu. And so he's praying, Udaraha Nija Karunai. Please be merciful. Please deliver me. And then he begins to tell the story of his life. Amara Satamati Tomarama Nahija Lati Kahite Nabasi Muke Lal. He says that Amara Asatamati, my heart is very, very sinful. Tomara Nami Nahirati, I have no attraction to the holy names. You may say that, well, your heart is very simple, no problem, then Chaito Darpana Marjana, you chant the holy names. But I am in such an unfortunate situation that I have no attraction for the holy names. Kahite na bhasi mukhi laj. The only thing that comes out of my mouth is laj, very shameful things. I'm always wanting to talk about myself. I'm always wanting to talk about very sinful things. I have taste for those things, but I have no taste for chanting the Lord's holy name. Janame janame koto koreyachi atmagata ata eva se moreikaj. Birth after birth. How many births? How many births? Kadayacha atmagata. Have I been killing myself? I'm not acting in my best interests. I don't even know what my best interests are. Life after life, I'm just killing myself. Eta evi samora ekaj. This is my kaj. This is my work. This is my behavior. Tumi o karuna sindhu pataki janada bandhu evada koro jaditya. My dear Nityananda Prabhu, Tumi o karuna sindhu, you're an ocean of mercy. Pataki janada bandhu, and you're the friend of the fallen. So I'm coming to you. I need someone who is an ocean of mercy, who is a friend of the fallen. Because my life is on fire. I need an ocean of water to put out the terrible fire that's burning me up. And I need someone who will be friends with great sinners like myself. And he says that if you abandon me now, Patita Pavana Nam Nirmala Se Anupam Tahate Laghai Bododag, then your name is Petit Pavan, the deliverer of the fallen. A Bododag. It's just a big trick. It has no meaning. How are you Petit Pavan if you don't save this great sinner? Purabhe Jabana Adi Kota Kota Aparadi Tada Icha Suniyachi Kan. I've heard with my own ears that millions and millions of Yavanas and very sinful people, great offenders, you've delivered them. And so he prays, Krishna Dasa Anumani Tilite Naribi Bhumi Jari Grina Na Koro Mane. My dear Lord, if in your heart you don't hate me, if there's any mercy for me, please don't push me away. So there's a kind of wonderful contrast, a kind of wonderful natural tension is there when we're aspiring for the highest thing, but we're the most fallen. At that time, in the heart of the devotee, a very piteous cry begins to come out. Because he sees, I have no qualification for this. This is such a very, very elevated thing. And he may say that Gaura Nityananda, the Parama Karuna, they're so very, very kind. That's true. But I look around here in the room, and there's so many candidates. Everyone is so much more qualified than I to get their mercy. They must be very busy giving mercy to so many people. So where is the hope for me with so many more qualified persons to get that mercy than I? So we have to carefully consider what is our qualification for getting mercy. As we spoke yesterday, sometimes new devotees, we think that our qualification is how many verses we've memorized. Or you know, I went to Bhakti Shastri and I got the best grades in my class. Don't you know who I am? I distributed more books than anyone else. And we think that this is the qualification to get the mercy of Petit Pavan Nityananda Prabhu, Petit Pavan Raghunath, or the Vaishnavas who are also Petit Pavan. But it's not. There's a story in the Mahabharata that we sometimes tell in this connection. Once there was a wealthy Vaishya who was living in South India on the bank of the ocean. And his children had a habit, they liked to feed the birds. And there was one particular kaka. Kaka is a type of pucky, a bird. Kaka means a crow, who was coming every day, and they were giving him very nice, rich yogurt, butter, and different things. And after eating all that opulent food for some time, that kaka, he started thinking, yes, I'm the best of all the birds. And then one day, two Rajahamsa swans happened to come flying by that house. And they were very, very magnificent and beautiful birds. And all the creatures in the area, when they saw them, they go, oh, you just see, so wonderful. And they began to glorify them. So that crow became envious. Why, they're glorifying those swans, they should glorify me. Don't you know who I am? So that crow flew up in the air and he challenged those two Rajahamsa swans. You think you're so big? Everyone's glorifying you, but it's not correct. You're not the real, most glorious birds. I challenge you to a competition, a flying competition. And if you really are great birds, as everyone is saying, then you'll be able to enter into this contest, and you'll see you'll be defeated by me. So when all the other crows heard about this contest, they came to watch their brother crow. And that crow, that very proud kaka, he flew up into the air and began to fly sideways, upside down, and doing spins and going very fast. Just see, and all of his brothers, they were cheering, ka, ka, ka. Just see our brother crow. He's so wonderful. And those Rajahamsa swans, they just looked at him, they didn't say anything. And without a word, they just started flying out to sea. And that crow, oh, you're trying to escape from me now, huh? I'll capture you. And he started flying after them. And those Rajahamsa swans didn't say anything. And they just started flying out over the ocean. After some distance, suddenly the crow looked back and he couldn't see the land anymore. And he'd never flown that far out to sea before. And he started getting tired and weak and very fearful. And after some time, he could no longer fly very high, and he began to fly lower and lower, until finally his wings started touching the water. And he landed in the water, and he was terrified. Some shark or some aquatic animal was going to come and eat him. And so then at that time, with his pride crushed, he began to call out to those Rajahamsa swans. Oh my dear brothers, please, please forgive me. Please save me. If you don't save me, there's no hope for me. Those kind Rajahamsa swans, they turned around and one of them swooped down and put that crow on his back. And he carried that crow back to the shore and put him down. And that poor crow, who was nearly dead, was all wet and suffering like anything. He got a very good lesson. So we shouldn't be like that crow. That's not spiritual life. We should understand the difference between Anukor and Anusar. These are two important phrases in Bengali. Anukor means to imitate, and Anusar means to follow the essence. So we have no qualification to fly or to speak or to cross the ocean of material existence. And if we try to imitate the great Paramahamsas, the great swan-like devotees, then all that will happen, it may be very impressive for a little while. And our crow-like brothers and sisters may even cheer us on. What a wonderful class. That was very good. Sadhu, sadhu. But after a short distance, we're going to fall in the water and we'll drown. So at that time, we have to call out to the Lord, particularly to the Lord's devotees. Patista Rajubir Badham Kamajar Vatmapati Chitvatu Samarandastan Agade Pamtamambada. This is the first verse in Raghunath Das Goswami's Braj Lila Stava. And it's something like describing your journey to Radhakund. You've arrived in Vrindavan and you want to go to Radhakund. Oh, it's so wonderful, I'll take bath on Bahulastami night. And so you're going, it's 10, 11 o'clock at night, and you're going along the road, and suddenly there's some person standing on the road wanting to stop you. And maybe you think, oh, probably you heard my class this morning in the temple. And he wants to glorify me or something. And so you stop. But that's not his real purpose. They're dacoits. And they're stopping you to rob you. It looks like they want to come and glorify you. So Raghunath Das Goswami, he describes that I'm on the road of bhakti. I'm on the road to Purushottam Kshetra. Back home, back to Godhead. And some people have stopped me on the road. They're highway robbers. And who are they? Patista Rajubir Badham. Those robbers, those thieves on the road of bhakti are patista, false prestige. Don't you know who I am? And the editor for Krishna Katamrita magazine. And I've been living in India so long, or I'm the temple president, or I'm this, or I'm that. Those are robbers, those conceptions, which will steal our bhakti from us. And they come and they bind me up with ropes. Pratista Rajubir Badham. What are those ropes? Kamajar Vatmapati Bihi. With lust and greed and other things. Thakur Bhaktivinoda, he describes that the Tanadapi Sunichinga verse indicates someone who is freed from false ego. And as long as we have that false ego, thinking that I am the enjoyer, we're always going to be addicted to sinful activities. So that pratista, that position, we become very intoxicated by it. And then we become lusty. We think, yes, I am the enjoyer. I am the enjoyer of so many women. I am a great connoisseur and I like to eat so many different types of food. And this is my life. I'm going to enjoy in this way. So Raghunath Das Goswami says, what is my hope in such a situation? I'm bound up. I have to find someone with a sharp knife who will come and cut those ropes. Patista Rajubir Badham Kamadja Vatmapati Bihi Chitvatu samarandastam agare pantu mam bataha. Agare pantu means the devotees are the killer of the aga demon. The sadhus. The very word sadhu means someone who cuts. So they'll come and they'll cut those ropes that are binding me up by using a knife in the form of unpleasant language. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he described in one article that those sadhus, they take and they put you on the sacrificial block, and they take their knife in the form of the unpleasant language, and they cut all those nasty things from our heart by chastising us, and thereby destroying our false pride, destroying all of our hopes that I'm going to be a big person. Maybe I'm the next Acharya even. We have that little hope, such a wicked desire down deep inside of us. And they come and they spoil the whole party. I often tell the story about Stamba Prabhu, who was in America before he became a devotee. He's a Prabhupada disciple. He was going to the university, and he didn't know the devotees yet, but he was becoming inquisitive about the meaning of life. And one day someone invited him to a college party. And so he went to the party, and there's all kinds of young boys and girls drinking and smoking and dancing and loud music and things. And he didn't feel really part of the whole thing. So he was sitting off by himself in a corner in a chair. And after a little while, a beautiful young girl came over and said, "Hi, what's your name?" And she started talking to him and saying whatever kind of things that beautiful young college girls say. I don't know. And she was going on and on for some time. And then after a little bit, and he spoke what was on his mind. He asked her, he said, "Have you ever thought about death before?" And she became very disturbed. She said, "You can't talk like that here. You'll spoil the whole party." So that's a sadhu. We have a party. We're going on. Life is a party, and it's very nice, and everything's very good. But the sadhu comes, and he spoils our whole party. He disturbs the whole thing by telling us the truth, by revealing to us our real situation. So many people, they don't like to come close to the sadhu. They stay far away. But we should do that. Many people, we like to pretend we're something else. And even we think that's Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means taking your bhajan and showing it to everyone else. And that's preaching. We think like that. But the Samoyan Tantra in Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says that Gopaya Nija Malikam. You should hide your mala, hide your japa, hide your bhajan. Don't show it to everyone else. But many times we think that this is preaching. I'm going to show everybody how wonderful it is to chant Hare Krishna. I'm doing Harinam on the street, and we're having a Pandal program, we're having Bhagavatam class, inviting everyone to come. That's there. But we need to understand the founder of this movement. The founder of our movement is Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu. And he came in this age of Kali, Bhakta Roop, not to be an incarnation. He's Chana Avatar, a hidden incarnation. He didn't come to be a deity, to be worshipped. He came as a devotee. He came to show us how to do bhajan. How to do bhajan to Lord Jagannath. Madhurjarasa Ganayati Murti, who's a condensed form of conjugal mellow. And we should learn from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I would suggest that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's life could be compared to a cake. And there's two parts of the cake. There's the main body of the cake, and there's the icing. The main body of the cake is the biggest part. The icing's a small thing. Icing's very sweet. The main body of the cake is not so sweet. So in Gaura Leela, his main activities were prachar, lila. And he was showing one particular face to the general public. But there was another part of his pastimes also, a very small part, a very hidden part, a gambhira part, a very deep, secret part. And that was the part that he shared with devotees like Ramananda Roy and Swarup Damodar Goswami. So if we want to preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we want to do bhajan in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we need to learn from his behavior. He didn't speak about intimate pastimes of the Lord in public. For that, at the bank of Narendra Sarovar, the same place where the Chandan Yatra Festival takes place, which Srila Satchidananda Maharaj was describing so wonderfully last night. On that bank of the Narendra Sarovar, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was daily hearing the Bhagavatam from Gadadhar Pandit. And what was he having him recite? The Ras Lila, part of the 10th canto? No. Daily he was hearing Prahlad Charit, the pastimes of Prahlad Maharaj, and Dhruva Charit, the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. It doesn't sound very rasik. Well, there's a Bahiranga Karan and Antaranga Karan, internal and external reason for the Lord's behavior. The external reason was that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw that this is what most people need to hear. They're not qualified to hear these higher things. And there's an internal reason also. Because Mahaprabhu, Radhabhava Dyuti Suvalitam Nomi Krishna Swarupam, is in a mood of Radha. And Radha likes to hear the pastimes of Dhruva and Prahlad because they face so many obstacles in obtaining association with the Lord. And Radharani relates to that. Because she's suffering there in Javat under the control of her cruel mother-in-law, Jatila, and cruel sister-in-law, Kutila. And they're always trying to block her from going to Krishna. So she can relate to that. So we see that generally in our society, in the line of especially Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, most devotees I see, they emphasize the cake and not the icing. And they say, don't eat that icing. Because if you eat too much icing, what will happen? You get indigestion. And if your children, you give them some big pieces of cake and they won't eat the cake, they just want the icing. Right? And that's all they eat. And they become sick. We can't digest that. So we generally emphasize the part of the cake. And then we see some other Vaishnavas in India, especially some Babajis and Goswamis, they prefer the icing part. It tastes much better. It's very, very sweet. And they're not interested very much in the cake part. This is not a criticism of anyone, it's just an observation. But the point is we need to have both. We need to have the main part of the cake, which is our face to the world for our preaching activities. But we also need to have a private part of our life where we can relish and have programs like we did last night. It's a wonderful thing. It's not a preaching kind of festival. Something more intimate for the devotees, in an intimate group. We can speak about deeper things. We can nourish ourselves in a deeper way. So both of these things must go on. To make progress in this path, and to nourish ourselves properly, we need to learn to cry. And that crying comes when we just become honest. And we give up the flight of the crow. And trying to pretend to be something that we're not. And we can actually honestly admit who we are. Then at that time a very wonderful thing happens to the heart. Thakur Bhakti Vinod, he sings this song, Amara Jivana, my life. And we start this by singing Hari Hey. jivana sada paperata nahi ko relation. Hari amara jivana sada paperata nahi ko relation. Ayera udvega tiachi jekoto tiachi jirekleisha. Tiachi jirekleisha. Harihe nija sukalai apinahi dori noya as we've gotten in the habit of acting as a preacher, so-called preacher, by wearing our bhajan on our sleeve, we may have become habituated to the practice of imitation. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in this song, he makes a great confession. My revered spiritual master used to say that Krishna likes confessions, and Guru likes confessions. And he would tell us that you should reveal your heart to Krishna and the Guru. You should tell your Guru things you would never tell your wife even, your husband. You'd never tell your mother. You should come and reveal the real situation that you're in. And to reciprocate with your sincerity, what will he do? He'll cut with his sharp words. And by doing that, you'll become purified. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he sings that Amara Jivana, this is my life. Sada Papi Rata, I'm always addicted to sinful activity. I can't pretend. I can't act like I'm a great devotee. Nahika Punya Relation. I have no punya, no pious activities have I ever done. Rather, pare udvega diachi kota, diachi jivera klesha. I've only caused other people great anxiety and trouble in my life. Nija sukha lagi, pape nahi gori. Without any hesitation, I've always performed whatever sinful activities have come to my mind. Doyahina, I have no compassion for others because I'm simply absorbed in thoughts of how great I am and how much I can enjoy. Swartha paro, I only want my own interest. Pada suke duke, when I see that someone else is happy, then I become very unhappy. I become very envious. Why are they happy like that? They don't know. They don't know the real truth. Parasuke duke sadam nitya basi. I'm always addicted to telling lies. And paraduka sukiko. If I see someone unhappy, then I become very happy. I get great pleasure from that. Ase shakama. The material desires in my heart are unlimited. Hridimaji mora. In my heart is kroti dhamba parayana. I am very envious. I'm a kroti. And dhamba parayana. I'm taking shelter of my pride. I think that if I act in a proud way, then everybody will be impressed with me. And they'll give me some respect. So, in this way we convince ourselves, I'm not really a great person, and really I should cultivate Tanada Pisanirchina. But I'm doing this because I'm going to preach. And they won't respect me unless I'm a big person. So I'm going to take shelter, Damba Parayana, of pride. Madamata Sada. He says that I'm always intoxicated. Vishaya Mohita, I'm bewildered by so many worldly things. Hingsa Garva Vibhushan. I have very nice ornaments, earrings on my ears. Envy and egotism. I'm always envious of other people, and I'm always so proud. Nidralasha Hatta. I'm being destroyed by sleep. Sukhaye virata akari udyoga ami. I don't have any interest in performing pious activities and going to the kirtan, worshipping the deity. I'm just interested in making a show. Patista lagiya. I want some position. Satya acharana. I'm always looking for this fame and reputation. For that, satya acharana, my achar, my behavior, is I'm always lying. I'm living a lie. Lobha hatta sadakami. And that way, I'm destroyed by my own greed, and I'm always very lusty. Ehino durjana. Such a sinful, nasty person as myself, such janavarjita, I'm rejected by godly people. When some saintly person sees me coming, Smita Krishna Maharaj, when he sees me coming, then he wants to run the other way. Stay away from him. He's a great pretender. Aparadi nirantara. And I'm always doing offenses to everyone. Subha karya sunya. I have no pious activities that I've done. Sadanartha mana. I'm always doing evil things. I'm always inclined toward anarthas, or things which are not the real goal. I'm not clear. As Srila Satchidananda Maharaj is always pointing out in a very nice way. We need to just be present in our japa, be present in our activities, and think about what we're doing. But we're not. We don't see that artha, that goal, because there's so many anarthas there. Sadanartha mana. Nana duki jara jara. I'm always very, very unhappy and destroyed by all these different sinful activities going on with me. But still, for many years I was going on. And things were pretty good. People were glorifying me and things looked nice. I could get away with many things. But Bhaktivinoda says, something unexpected happened. Bardakye ikona. All of a sudden, old age crept in. And it's spoiling my show. I can't pretend anymore. Now my body's becoming wasted. Upaya vihina. Now, where is the hope for me to act in a genuine way? To genuinely take up the practice of bhajan? My mind has been forever addicted to pretense and to acting like something that I'm not. Tati dina akinchana. Now, Bhaktivinoda says, I realize my real situation. I'm dina. I'm very, very fallen. I'm a kinchana. I'm dina. I don't have anything. I thought I had all these things. I was pretending so good, I fooled everybody else, and I even fooled myself. I thought I was very, very good. Bhakti Vinoda, Prabhu Charani, Kore Duko Nividan. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur, he pours out his heart in this way to the Lord. And he cries and tells his tale of grief. So this is our qualification. If we can just be honest, and if we can come before the Lord and tell the truth. But it's hard for us. It's hard for us because we're covered over with illusion. And we think we're something that we're not. Or worse yet, we're covered over by false pretense, by putting on a show. My revered spiritual master used to say that Caitanya Mahaprabhu is Patit Pavan. He's a deliverer of the most fallen. But he's not Kapatya Pavan. He's not the deliverer of the crooked. So, it's a very simple thing. Krishna consciousness is such a simple thing. We just surrender to Krishna and we be who we are. We don't have to be someone else. Many times these people who are putting on a false show, they enthuse us that we should also put on a false show. One time, one person before I got married, one of my god sisters, she was very enthusiastic. She said, Madhavananda, you should take sannyas, you should go to the West and preach. And I said, but I'm not qualified to do that. And she said, anyway, there's so many other people who took sannyas and they weren't qualified either. And they're doing like that. And I said, well, then why do you need another one? Just let me be who I am. Because I'll be destroyed if I try to imitate like that. You know, once Madhavananda, he was watching Krishna. And one day he came to Krishna and said, this is not right. Kanu, I've been watching you. Everybody's giving you all the ladus and sweets and mutton and everything. And you're just a Vaishya. I'm a very high-class Brahmin. They should be giving to me. So I've been wondering why it is that they give those things to you and they don't give them to me. And I understood. It's because of that peacock feather on your head. And that yellow dhoti, which is so beautiful. So, my dear Kanu, would you please lend those things to me just for a day? And Krishna said, yes, why not? So he gave his peacock feather and his yellow dhoti to Mahaprabhu. Meanwhile, in Mathura, Kamsa, he called for Keshi. Hey Keshi! He knows what's going to happen. I want you to go to Vrindavan and kill the son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. Keshi said, yes, boss. What does he look like? Peacock feather and yellow dhoti. Yes, boss. And so Keshi went out. And that day, Madhu Mangal was having a very good day. Everywhere he was going, everyone thought that he was Krishna first. And they were giving him sweets and ladus and mukkan and things. And Madhu Mangal was very happy. This is very, very good. And then Keshi came. Oh, there he is. And Keshi came and gave Madhu Mangal a kick. The kick didn't even touch Madhu Mangal. Just the air from Keshi's feet. That air hit Madhu Mangal's body and made him fly through the air a few dozen yards, a few dozen meters. And then Madhu Mangal started crying. He took off the peacock feather. And he ran back to Krishna and took out the door. You can take these. I don't want these things anymore. So we're like that. We want to imitate the sannyasis, sincere devotees who are really genuinely surrendered. And then when Maya comes, he gives us a big kick, and we start crying, I don't like this anymore. I'm going to stop this. And we give up our costume. We give up our pretense of being a great preacher and a great person. So people who are attached to dressing in a particular costume like that, they also advocate the same process to others. And some people will even tell you that this is the Krishna conscious movement. It's a great costume party. And we all dress up in different costumes and we act in a certain way, and that's preaching. That's what we're supposed to do. But don't listen to those people. Don't associate with those people. If you go and tell them, well really, I'm very, very fallen and wicked, then they'll look both ways. If no one else is there, they may say, well, actually I'm also very fallen and wicked too. But don't tell anyone that. Because then they won't listen to you. You should just act like this, and it'll be very good for preaching. And so with that kind of rationale, Damba Parayana, we take shelter of pride. And we spoil our hopes. So Krishna consciousness is such a simple thing. Prabhupada said it's simple for the simple. If we just be who we are, and don't try to pretend that we're something that we're not. And if we do that, then we'll definitely get the mercy of the Lord. In that connection, I'd like to tell you a story. This is from our newest magazine. And this is a story of one person who was born in 1607 in Orissa. There was a Brahmin couple who were living in a village called Danda Mukundapur, which is about 30 kilometers away from Jagannath Puri. And they had a beautiful daughter, and they named Lalita. And when she was a young girl, maybe 12, 14 years old, following Vedic tradition, they got her married. She married a nice, handsome Brahmin. His name is Bandhu Mishra. But unfortunately, that Bandhu Mishra, he died a few years later. And Lalita became a widow at a very young age. But Lalita took it in a good way. She was a devotee. And she was going every day to have darshan of the deity of Gopinath there in the village of Danda Mukundapur. One day she was taking bath in the local pond there, which is called the Padma Pukur. We have a photo of this in our magazine. And at that time, the Subadar, the governor of Orissa and West Bengal happened to come by. His name was Jahangir Kuli Khan. Another name was Lal Beg. And he was on his way with his army to Jagannath Puri to break the temple, to break the deity of Lord Jagannath. And as he was coming by that pond, he happened to see this girl taking bath there. And Lal Beg immediately forgot all about his military campaign. Wow, she's a babe. And he jumped off the horse and went to grab this girl. And she tried to struggle with him, and she's screaming, but no one could help her. And he drug her over and put her on his horse. And then he turned around and started going back to the Bharabati fort, Kathak. At that time, his commander just said, but hey boss, what about the battle? And he said, never mind the battle, we got the girl. This is more important. He's a very lusty fellow. So he drugged Lalita to that Bharabati fort, and she tried again and again to escape, but she couldn't. And finally he forced her to become his wife, and she had no choice, she agreed. So he gave her a very nice name. I don't know what this name means in Arabic, Mataji might know. It was Fatima Biwi. I don't know what it means in Arabic, but I think any lady, at least from America, or somebody who speaks English, would be very unhappy to have their name changed from Lalita, a very nice name, to Fatima. Anyway, so after a year or so, Fatima, we'll call her Lalita, I don't like that name. Lalita gave birth to a child. And Lal Beg was very, very happy. He named that son after him. He became known as Sala Beg. And shortly after he was born, a few years later, one mullah from Delhi, he accused Lal Beg of some discrepancies. And so immediately an order was sent from Delhi that you have to return here. And Lal Beg was returning to Delhi, and some persons attacked him, and he was killed on the 4th of April, 1608. And Sal Beg, he was raised as a good Muslim. He never knew that his mother was a Hindu before. He was trained from birth to hate Hindus, and that they should be killed, and the deity should be broken. He was a very good Muslim, a good son of his father. But one day in a battle, Sala Beg was gravely wounded. And the doctors, they tried everything they could, but they weren't able to help him. And he was suffering terribly. He was suffering so badly with his wounds, finally he called for his mother one day, and he said, Ma, I'd rather die than continue with this pain. His mother was very heart-stricken to hear that. And she preached to her son. She said, you please wait longer. And his son said, no, no, I can't tolerate. So then his mother told him, she said, Sala Beg, I have to tell you some secret. He said, my name is not Fatima, but my birth name was Lalita. And I grew up in Danda Mukundapur. And there I was always worshipping the wonderful deity of Gopinath. And Sala Beg was very shocked. Mother, we don't like these Hindus. We don't accept these people. They're not bona fide. And Lalita, she told her son that, Sala Beg, it's the same God. Whether you want to call him Allah, or you call him Krishna, Gopinath, Jagannath, it's the same Lord that we're all worshipping. And he can help you. So you should pray to him. Sala Beg, he said, I don't know, this sounds a little funny to me to worship a Hindu God. But somehow his mother convinced him, and he said, okay, for 12 days I'll try. And if your God doesn't come to help me after 12 days, then I want to commit suicide. So he started chanting the Hare Krishna mantra on the guidance of his mother. And after a few days he became impatient. Mother, where is your God? He's not coming. his mother, she told him, Mamta Swarupa Atai, Jani Chinti Bhatani Tai. And Oriya is saying that the wonderful nature of Krishna is that you'll find him wherever and whenever you think of him from the heart. So after 12 days, nothing happened. And Salabeg, he told his mother, I don't want to continue. His mother said, just be patient, one little more. She said, sometimes the Lord's mercy, it often comes in the form of suffering. So that night, Balbeg was sleeping and he had a dream. And the beautiful form of Krishna, Gopinath, appeared in his dream. And Krishna told him, Salabeg, it's okay. Here's some vibhuti, some sacred ashes. If you smear these on your wound, everything will be okay. And then Krishna disappeared. Salabeg woke up. Amazing dream. And suddenly he felt his body, and his wounds were all completely healed. Salabeg ran and woke up his mother. Mom, just see what happened. You're Gopinath, you're Krishna, he's real. And he saved me. And so then Salabeg became a devotee. And he gave up all thoughts of material life. He decided he never wanted to marry. He wanted to dedicate his life to Krishna. Since Krishna saved me, I want to dedicate my everything to Krishna. And he'd heard so much from his mother about the wonderful glories of Jagannath. So Salabeg traveled to Jagannath Puri to come and have darshan of Lord Jagannath. But when he got to the temple, the Pandits were looking at him. Said, hey, what family do you come from? He said, well, my father, he was a Subadar. He was the governor. His name's Lalbeg. Have you heard of him? Yes, we've heard of him. Get out. You can't come in here. And so a great injustice took place. Lord Jagannath is Petit Pavan. He's a Lord of mercy. But Salabeg was denied entry, was denied the mercy of the Supreme Lord. And Salabeg, then he went to some other ashrams, but wherever he would go in Puri, they'd ask him, who is your father? And he told them the truth. He didn't try to pretend. He was very straightforward and honest. And the reward he got from everyone was, no one would allow him inside the ashram. No one would give him anything to eat. No one would give him a place to stay. Finally, Salabeg decided, I'll go to Vrindavan. And before he left, Salabeg, he offered a prayer to Lord Jagannath. Kahe Salabeg ahina jatere javana Tininaru agyahila jire Vrindavan. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Kahe Salabeg ahina jatere javana. He didn't try to pretend with Lord Jagannath. This line is there in almost every one of Salabeg's hundreds of different songs. Salabeg is probably the most famous devotee of Jagannath in all of Orissa history. He never had darshan of Lord Jagannath in the temple. And in his songs he prayed, the outcast, fallen, Hina, Salabeg who has nothing, who's a Yavana. He prayed, Dina Daru Agyahela Jivi Vrindavan. Please give me permission to go to Vrindavan. And he sang a very nice song about Vrindavan. Should we sing a little bit of that? Jivanere Jive 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 Vrindavana Darashana Puri Vijay Sri Hari Surana Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Kunda Shama Kunda Puri Vishnaha Hare Rama Karti Hare And there, I'll have darshan of Madhusudan. I'll take bath in Radhakund and Shamakund. I'll do parikrama around Govardhan Hill. In this way he prayed to Radha and Krishna. And he stayed there in Braj for some time. He wrote a number of wonderful songs. And after some time, a very intense desire arose in the heart of Salabeg. He wanted to see Jagannath. And Salabeg, he looked at the Panji, the calendar, and he realized there's no hope. The only time I can see Jagannath is during the Snan Yatra, when he comes out on top of the temple, and during the Rath Yatra and the Bahuda Rath. But it's that time of the month now, it's so late. By the time I walk all the way to Vrindavan, it'll take me 1 month. I won't arrive in time. So it's not possible. But the desire kept coming and coming in his heart, because Jagannath was calling Salabeg. Because when the devotee cries to the Lord reciprocates. So Salabeg could no longer refuse that inner voice, and he set out to Vrindavan, to Jagannath Puri, understanding it was hopeless, and he wasn't even going to be able to have darshan of the Lord. And as he set out, he began singing a song spontaneously. He wrote on the spot, which is one of the most famous songs in all of Orissa today. Jagat Bandhu He Gosai. Oh my dear Lord of the universe, you're everyone's friend. Tumba Shri Charana Binu Anyagati Nahi. I have no hope other than you. Sata Sapa Chasa Kosha Chali Napadai Mohajiva Jai Nandi Kosha Tivalai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So my dear Jagat Bandhu He Gosai, please wait for me on your Nandi Ghosh chariot. So the Snan Yatra took place, and then the Anavasya period for 2 weeks. Lord Jagannath was sick, and then came the Navayogana Darshan Day, the day before the Rath Yatra. And then the day of Rath Yatra came, Pahandi Vijay, and they brought Jagannath out of the temple, and he went to the Gundicha temple. And then after 8 days in the Gundicha temple, the Bahuda Rath started, and Jagannath began to return. And then a very strange thing happened. When Lord Jagannath was coming to the place known as Balaganti, suddenly his chariot couldn't go any further. And everyone became very bewildered. They started pulling hard, but it wouldn't move. And you've heard this story before, maybe. They got the elephants and the wrestlers and everything, but the chariot wouldn't move. And Jagannath sat there for several weeks. And no one could understand what's going on. Why is he still here? And then Salabeg arrived in Jagannath Puri, feeling very, very sad. He had this desire to see Lord Jagannath, but knowing it was too late. When he arrived there, he saw, what are all these people on the streets? Why are there such crowds here? Oh, you haven't heard? Lord Jagannath's chariot stopped and no one can move it. The Salabeg began crying. And ran to that place and had darshan of Jagannath. And on the spot he composed another wonderful song, praying to Lord Jagannath, which we also put in our magazine. And Salabeg, he decided, I'm not going to leave this place again. And that place where Jagannath stopped his chariot for Salabeg, Salabeg stayed for the rest of his life and did his bhajan. And after he left his body, they put him in samadhi in that place. And we take devotees on parikrama, and we like to go to this place to see Salabeg's samadhi because we feel some kinship with Salabeg. There's a picture of his samadhi on the top, and his samadhi mukti on the bottom. We see many times when spiritual practice is put in the hands of materialistic people and they try to make a monopoly on it. try to decide who is a fit candidate for mercy and who's an unfit candidate. But you can't deny the jiva who's crying for the Lord. You can't stop them. You may lock them out of the temple. But Jagannath, he'll stop and wait for his devotee, like we saw in the case of Salabeg. So Salabeg, he didn't try to pretend. In every one of his songs, he always identified himself as a Muslim, a Yavana Salabeg, and a Dina, a very fallen person. And we may think that, oh, if we tell the truth, then the Lord won't give us his mercy. But it's just the opposite. Lord Jagannath was so pleased with Salabeg that he stopped his chariot for him. So we'll stop there. We'll pass this around. This article here has some pictures of Salabeg and this Padmapukura done in Mukundapur where Lalita was taking bath, and some other stories from Salabeg's life which we didn't have time to tell, and his samadhi. So